Andrew McCart, iFLTV, delighted to be joined by Billy Nelson himself. Billy, I'm doing this on my phone because I've got my young fighter Fred here sparring, and I thought, you know what, it's 5 days on from the fight, we'll talk about it, but like I say, you've got Manny out in a couple of weeks, I think it is it?
Next week, hopefully.
Next week, and he's fighting, well, no fighting, but sparring Fred today. He's getting the rounds and he's working hard. How's he looking?
Emmanuel's looking very good in training, as you've seen in the spar. Very, very concussive puncher, but clever with it. So I'm looking forward to his fight, assuming his visa issues come to fruition. Everyone's all right.
Well, obviously, we're 5 days on, or 6 days on, or whatever it is, from Martin's fight out in Saudi Arabia. Your reflection on the draw?
I think initially I wasn't sure. I thought maybe whenever maybe Ajagba got it a bit around, but on reflection and after watching the fight, it was a pretty easy fight to score. Five rounds each. We won 2, 4, 8, 9 and 10.
Ajagba's obviously tactics was to move a lot and not stand in front of Martin. You stand in front of Martin, maybe that's the wrong thing to do because he is quite a powerful. Well, he is a powerful puncher. So your thoughts on the tactics of Ajagba's team?
Very negative, but if that's what people think is going to work for him, that's fine. But I can assure everybody that things will change dramatically in this camp, and if they don't, then there'll be repercussions.
Is that alluding to the weight? Because obviously, you know, Martin was close to 300 pounds again weighing in, and then you know what social media is like. Everybody, Sam Jones said his piece as well about Martin being too big.
When I want advice about boxing, it's no, Sam Jones is no in my top 1,000 to phone and ask, you know, about training a fighter or anything to do with boxing.
Where am I ranked?
You're about 1,002.
Well, I'll take it, at least I'm getting there. I was 1,025 yesterday, so I'm getting there. I'm moving on down. Yeah, so the weight thing, when you say changes, is it going to be more so, I don't know, the S&C side of things, nutritionists and whatnot?
S&C, strength and conditioning. I've got an American coming over, and seen a nutritionist thing. The nutritional thing, because Martin's a vegetarian and basically eats the same things all the time. I don't know how much a nutritionist can do for him, but we'll get one in and sit down and have a discussion with a person, see what their opinion. They've got a better insight to it than me.
Martin's ideal weight, what was that, 275, 280 do you think?
I reckon 275, 270, 275. Ideal 270.
What was he Jared Anderson fight? He was
280.
280. Is that sort of like where you're hoping he can?
No. I want him a wee bit later than that.
A wee bit later. Because he does have good feet, doesn't he?
Brilliant feet. But I mean, the performance never done him any kind of justice, and that's what I'm disappointed in. I've rattled on for years how good Martin Bakole is. Everybody knows how good Martin Bakole is. You know, people pass comment on him, and you know, but deep down they all know how good he is. But he's not always produced it on fight night, and see when he does, and people are going like, wow.
That boogeyman tag was on him for a long time. It's almost like the pressure's been off him now, because maybe that's taken away from him, and maybe people want to fight him now because of his last 2 performances. Maybe those fights that you've been clamoring for is going to be there, because like you know yourself, if he's the sparring stories and the Jared Anderson performance, it's maybe people like, nah, high risk, low reward. Maybe now after the last 2 performances, people might go, all right.
Well, there's been quite a few names mentioned now since Saturday, and one in particular that two in particular that we're very keen on, and we've said yes, we'll have that fight, and let's see, hopefully it comes to fruition. But I'd imagine one of the two will.
I'm going to ask who, but you're going to tell me to shut the fuck up, aren't you?
I can't. It would be unfair. It'd be unfair on the opponent, because they might not know.
Yep.
The promoters reached out to a promoter, and we'll just have to see what happens. Well,
exciting times anyway, because I think the way Martin Bakole fights, when he's in a good fight, he's exciting to watch. Now, I'm going to have to ask, what did you make of Frank Warren's comments that Martin Bakole should be done with loitering in that fight, because he just stood there?
Frank's good. Frank's funny. I actually found that quite funny. But in the same respect, I mean, if we want to talk about getting charges against somebody, Martin should probably have been charged with serious assault the last time he sparred his new golden boy Daniel Dubois. So, you know, winning glass houses, Frankie. Come on, son. You know.
You seem to have a beef, no, not want to say beef, but Eddie Hearn's been having pops at you, and I mean, what are you doing to these promoters?
Eddie shook my horn on Saturday, come on.
Oh, did he?
I've no problem at all with Eddie. Eddie's the best at what he does. Frank's the best builder of a fighter I think boxing's ever had. He's a real boxing person. Frank can build a fighter for scratch. If I was a young boxer and I wanted a promoter, I would probably go to Frank Warren because he's excellent at what he does at building a fighter. He's the best in the business. Eddie's probably the best promoter in the business. You know, that's the way it is. I have no gripe with any of them, and I don't think any of them have any gripe with me. If they have, come and tell me what your problem is. And if nobody's ever said they've got a problem, so I don't think there's a problem.
No, I think I think boxing needs storylines and boxing needs characters as well as we've got the product in the ring. I think boxing's an entertainment business. The fact that we've got characters like Eddie, yourself, and Sam Jones and all these guys, you add to that the fans get engaged a lot more, and I think that's good for boxing. You agree?
Aye. But you know, it's just. Boxing, innit? Boxing. People, it's like opinions are arseholes, everybody's got one.
Not everybody's right though, eh?
Most folk are wrong.
Exactly. Just want to touch on the Ajagba fight again. I spoke to him post-fight. He said that he doesn't want the rematch. He wants a shot at the world title. But that rematch, if it was offered back to you, I know you mentioned two names there that isn't going to be fair to mention, and you've said yes to them. But the rematch with Ajagba, does that interest you, and is that something you would want to get?
Well, we'd like to clear it up, you know what I mean? We'd like to clear it up because that was just, for me, a substandard performance by Martin. I know he says he wants it. I want a 14-inch cock, but I've not got one. You know what I mean? So he'll not get a world title shot straight on the back of that, and neither would Martin. So both of them have either got to fight each other again or fight a top-level opponent to get a world title fight. World titles are all tied up now anyway.
One last one. I've got some Luke Bibby's and he's fighting again. You've got Sean Lazzarini back, I've seen. You've got Manny, you've got Busy, you've got Cyrus Patson as well. He's out on the 6th of June, I believe. Busy little gym.
Very busy, aye. It's great. Having fights every month now. So busy gym, happy gym. Get results.
Almost forgot to get your thoughts on Richard Riakpo up at heavyweight. £235, man. I was surprised at that. He looked like a good heavyweight. He looked like he was filled out.
I think it was 241. I'm not sure, but 17 stone anyway. No, he's filled out well. Ideally, I think I'd like to see him doing it bridgerweight, but if there's big fights there at heavyweight, he's more. I mean, someday like Solomon Dakis would be a good fight, and now David Adelaide, that'd be a good fight, and then just build on that. Good stuff.
I think they're warmed up. Shall we go and get some spawn?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Cheers, Billy. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you.